guys, and welcome back to NsomniaksDream. This is my creation in the Animal Kingdom Challenge for the top 20 of the NYX Face Awards. You guys had to know I'd be looking to create something rainbow and over the top, and when NYX messaged us saying to pull ideas from the sea and skies, I knew I had to go to the seas. My inspiration? A peacock mantis shrimp. What the heck is a mantis shrimp? Well, they are these sexy creatures. I couldn't resist the challenge of interpreting this deep sea crustacean in my own style, and I certainly hope you like the results. You know to move forward in the Face Awards, I'll be coming to you for your support and vote, so please check the description for how to do that, and of course I'll give you full details at the end of the video, but for now, let's get painting. To get this one started, I had to cover my brows, and after fighting with 3 different methods, I settled on a glue stick and just worked on my other eye while the one side was drying. Once it was finally dry, I made sure to powder it down and went over it with 2 of the corrector colors from the corrector palette from NYX. I just used the salmon color and the yellow and then set it again. I applied the white eyeshadow base all over my eye area just to make sure that the colors on top will really pop. And then taking the Primal Hot eyeshadow in yellow, I just applied this all over the inner corner and pulled it to about 1/3 along my top lid. And then taking the Full Throttle eyeshadow palette, I just used the gradients from greens to blues and pulled it across my eye and just blended them together. I used the teal and blue shades to create a kind of cut crease along where my brows would normally sit, and then just blended all of the green colors underneath and added the deep cobalt color along the top and blended out slightly. Then to give more dimension and a little bit of shimmer, I just took 2 pigments and applied a white gold color to the inner corners and a lime green along the top of the lid. Then I'm a genius and used a blending brush that I thought was clean and was clearly not. So totally Band-Aid style, I just painted over it and pretended it didn't happen. Really, I knew I wanted to pack on some good cobalt blue colors anyways, so just apply that over top of the area and blend upwards. I wasn't too worried about really blending out right now just because I knew that we still have to add our foundation color and we're going to be going over that area again. For my liner, I just went in with the matte black liquid liner and created a really dramatic wing. I actually made this even thicker with a second round of applying just to make sure the eye shape was really dramatic and was the focal point. I quickly deepened that faux crease with just a bit of black and blended it into the blue color. And then taking the Vivid Brights liner, my camera took a nap, but all I did was go over top of the black liquid liner and along the cut crease shape with it. Threw on some mascara and then moved on to my foundation. For this, I took the green and yellow SFX cream paints, mixed them together till I got this nice emerald color, and using the Precision blending brush, I just applied this all over my face and used it to kind of add a little bit of contour and shape to my nose area as well. Totally started feeling like a drag version of the Grinch at this point, and it was awesome. Then for the high points of my face, I just took the green color I had mixed and started adding a little bit of white and blue to it to create this kind of soft, minty seafoam color. And I just applied this into the areas I wanted to blend into the tops of my eyes, along my cheekbones, nose, and chin, and then just along the jawline to again start creating a little bit more shape to my face. Make sure to powder it all down, and then referencing the markings along the top of the shrimp's head, I used a stencil for some detailing. I just used all the colors in the Full Throttle eyeshadow palette and created this little gradient of texture underneath my eyes. If you get a little shadow outside the stencil or move some of your makeup, just go over with the little sponge and some of your foundation color and touch it all up. I added these same textures along the sides of my forehead as well, just to really frame the eye area and again, create that focal point along the center of my face. Now we're all cool tone colors right now and not enough rainbow, so to fix that I added some oranges and pinks underneath my eye to add that vibrancy as well as the contrast of colors seen on the shrimp's body. Then with that teal shadow from the Full Throttle palette, I went ahead and added a little bit more definition around my face and did some contouring. I wanted to create the illusion of a much thinner nose shape and really carved out cheekbones. And to do that, I pulled the shadow from the connecting point of my ear and angled it towards the edge of my mouth in an S curve. I softened the line with some other colors of green from the Full Throttle palette and just blended it upwards to give that lift to my cheekbone. I really love the markings along the anterior of the shrimp and wanted to bring that to the makeup. So with the SFX white cream, I just used a detail brush to add some irregular lines over my nose and forehead. A cream product works really well here because you can easily soften it towards the edges until it just fades off and disappears into the makeup. Because the markings are more like speckled lines, there's really no rhyme or reason to how I applied them. I just let the brush do a lot of the work. I mainly aimed to fill in areas that looked sparse or that would benefit from the added white, and just went from there. Then with a white jumbo pencil, a sharpened white jumbo pencil, I went ahead and started on the chest. I was primarily looking at pictures of the front and tail of the mantis shrimp and used that as my inspiration. I sketched out the areas where I wanted some of the centerpieces to go, as well as where the detailing would be, and just laid them out with the white. Also, this film day was a comedy of errors. Pro tip, keep your foundation mix off to the side so it doesn't get stuck to things. For the centerpiece that I'm treating kind of like a gem, even though it's not at all, I used a lip macaron in this light blue color just to give a base. And then I wanted to kind of map out this area for myself, so I used the red SFX paint as well as the blue primal shadow and applied them to the sections I was detailing. Because I was mapping out, I just focused on getting a nice opaque base laid down with the colors, and then I used a bit of black shadow to better define the center blue portion. For detail on the light blue area, I took the Vivid Brights liners in the green and lime shades and sporadically dotted them along the edges to create that textured feel to the area. I then also used a few of the shadows from the Full Throttle palette, a dark green as well as the teal color, and just with the detail brush kind of went around the edges to again just add a little bit more shading and definition. Added a bit more definition with the black shadow, and then just used the NYX white liquid liner as a way to add some extra highlighting around that little center portion, and just kind of kept it focused on the edges and did a few little dots. Since I kind of work in pieces, I again worked on mapping out the lower section, and for this I used a combination of the blue macaron lippy, the lime jumbo pencil, orange SFX cream, and then the yellow and orange lippies for the neck designs. You can see I used just a flat synthetic brush to help blend everything out and kind of get it better placed down. But again, I just worked on getting the color nice and opaque. I also took this time to start carrying down the colors from the face and having it blend and gradient into the blue from the shrimp's tail. I used the same precision sponge and mixed emerald color, and then I just used dabbing motions and a little bit of patting to spread the color evenly along my chest. And then because Alice is so deprived of attention, I had to bug her by picking her up. But kitty break over, back to the makeup. For the sections on the side here, I wanted them to reference the center gem style design. So I did the exact same steps with the Vivid Brights liners, a little bit of the shading, and then using the white as a highlight. Wanting to give better definition to the neck area, I just took some of the greens from the Full Throttle palette and blended them along my neck shape. Wanting them to blend into the red section, I just took some of the yellow and oranges from the same palette and kind of gradiented them down. And then these designs were inspired by the patterning on his front legs, so I wanted to just add a lot more definition with, again, some shadows. I used the liquid lip liner in orange to also put a little bit of darkness in there, added some blue to those center sections, and then highlighted them with white. And then going back to the dark blue section, I again wanted to create more definition, and definition is all about highlighting and low lighting, so I just added in some light blue and darker shadows. I also carried that body texture down a little bit. I kept them more on the green so they'd be a lot softer along the neck as opposed to the dark shadows that I have around my eyes. And then again, I really used the Full Throttle palette like crazy. I'm using all the exact same shades to better define all of these lines that are based off of the tail. I'm adding some teal shadow to these intersections to create definition there. And then with the shoulders, I actually figured out where my armored pieces would be sitting and wanted to add these spikes coming out from them. I sketched them out with the red SFX cream and then wanted to solidify my shoulders themselves with one solid color. So to do that, I filled them in with red, and then using black shadow, I added that strong contrast to the interior of the spikes that gives the edges a little bit more of a glowing feel. I added a little bit of an illusion of shadow from them, just using the teal shadow and blending that underneath. And then using the black gel liner on a fine detail brush, I used this to really define all these sections that I had laid down. Without the black, they just feel too muddy and don't really pop off the skin, so using this and a bit of black shadow made the forms more recognizable. And yeah, sorry, I know I make really super serious faces when I'm focused on painting. Wanting even more referencing to the gorgeous patterns along the shrimp's body, I went ahead and used a white hairspray and the stencil along the body, because work with what you got, right? I'm not even gonna pretend that white dotting was not coming for this look. It's actually on the shrimp's body, so I'm not entirely to blame on this one, but obviously could not resist. Using a fine detail brush and the white liquid liner, I just went ahead and added this to all of the areas along the eyes and center of the face. For the hair, I slicked mine back with the sculpting paste and hairspray from Redken, and this allowed me to add some colored hairsprays that would continue the rainbow as well as glow under black light. Also really made me want rainbow hair. And now I finally get to add the little tiny prosthetics that I made. And these were inspired by the little antenna that the shrimp has, because I thought they were so cute. I left these till the very end because I was too afraid that if they were on my face during the whole process, I would accidentally hit them and break them, because they do sit off the face in an area that I would be touching a lot doing the makeup. I used a cotton swab to remove the makeup in the area, and then a little bit of skin adhesive, and just stuck them on when the glue was dry and tacky. Once I had all 6 on my face, I had to blend them in, so I used some of the foundation color again to just blend in with the skin, and then I painted the red pieces down a little bit more. To help with the illusion of the blend a little bit, I just used some of the same dotting of the Vivid Brights liners and white around those areas, and just focused them all along these sections where the prosthetics met the skin. And then moving on to the part that is probably the most fun, adding UV highlighting. Mantis shrimp, while not bioluminescent, do create sonoluminescence, and it is literally their punches in the water are so strong that they can create air bubbles that create light from the impact of sound waves. Way too cool, right? So I had to take this inspiration and add some UV highlighting. I was just using UV water-activated paints for this, and I added all the different colors to the areas that I knew would light up under black light. I did most of mine in regular lighting, but you can of course turn on your black light to do all of your painting if that's easier for you. Also, couldn't quite forget about painting my lips. I left them free this entire time because I ate a lot during the day to make sure that I was hydrated and well fed. But for the lips, I just used the 2 macaron lippies in green and then a teal color, and then using the dark green from the Full Throttle palette, I just added this to the edges to create some shading. And for the fun part, change over to black light. I took this time to add some more definition in areas that looked way too sparse without any kind of UV highlighting, so you could do a lot of your painting in this or just do some touch-ups like I am. And then all that was left for me was to go throw in my UV contacts, put on my shoulder pieces, and add in my little homemade antenna. And that is it for my mantis shrimp, complete with a blacklight twist. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed this look. It was a ton of fun to do. If you think it's deserving of moving on to the top 12, I would greatly love and appreciate your help in getting there. These rounds are entirely vote-based, so it is up to you guys, Team Dream, to decide who moves forward. To do that, you can go to thefaceawards.com from now the 16th until the 23rd. Voting is daily, and you are given 3 votes per email addresses, so if you are a collector of emails, then you have the ability to have numerous votes each day. I will of course have little reminders across my other social media pages, some little bonus clips and behind the scenes throughout the week. Know that I freaking love and adore you guys. I am dying to hear what you thought of this look in the comment section, and I can't wait to see what challenges lie ahead. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I of course will see you next video, and until then, bye guys. And let's be honest, there's nothing sexier than a mantis shrimp.
I've never even heard of a mantis shrimp until this week, but yes, I absolutely agree.